It looks like Samsung's Exynos chip is making a comeback. After months of rumors and guessing, new reports suggest that Samsung is working hard to bring the Exynos 2600 to its Galaxy S26 series next year. For a while, it wasn't clear if Samsung would keep using its own Exynos chips or stick with Qualcomm's Snapdragon processors, like it did for the Galaxy S25 series. But now, things are starting to change. At first, people thought Samsung would only use Snapdragon chips for the Galaxy S26 phones, following the same plan they had with the S25 lineup. That decision was made because Samsung couldn't get enough of its Exynos 2500 chips ready in time. The problem was with Samsung's 3nm chip-making process. The company wasn't able to make enough good quality chips, so it had to rely on Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy, also known as the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Those chips were made by TSMC, a different chip-making company. But now, Samsung's chip factory, called Samsung Foundry, seems to be improving. Recent news from South Korea says Samsung has made a lot of progress in making chips using a newer and even more advanced 2nm process. Right now, their success rate, or yield, is between 40% and 50%. That might not sound very high, but in the world of making tiny, powerful chips, it's a big step forward. To give you an idea, once chip yields hit about 60%, it's usually considered good enough for mass production. Samsung plans to start mass production of the Exynos 2600 by November 2025, so there's still time to improve those numbers. Meanwhile, TSMC is ahead of the game. Their 2nm chips have already reached a 60% success rate, so they're ready to make a lot of chips at once. That's one reason Qualcomm continues to partner with TSMC for its Snapdragon processors, including the Snapdragon 8 Elite that powers the Galaxy S25 series. Even though Samsung is making progress, it still has a little catching up to do. The big question now is whether Samsung will return to its old plan of using different chips in different parts of the world, like Exynos chips in Europe and Snapdragon chips in places like the US and Asia, or stick to one chip worldwide. Report suggests Samsung might stick with a regional strategy. That means Europe could get the Exynos-powered Galaxy S26, while the rest of the world gets the Snapdragon version. This isn't new for Samsung. They've done it before, like with the Galaxy S22 series. European buyers often get the Exynos models, while other regions get the Snapdragon versions. This plan helps Samsung manage risks. If the Exynos 2600 turns out to be a solid, reliable chip, Samsung can increase its use in more markets. But if it still has problems with performance, battery life, or production numbers, Samsung can rely on Snapdragon chips for the rest of the world. This is a very important moment for Samsung's chip-making business. Whether the Exynos 2600 succeeds or not will affect the company's future plans. If Samsung can get its 2nm process working well enough for mass production, and if the Exynos 2600 delivers great performance, we might see more Exynos chips in flagship Samsung phones again. But if there are delays, or if the chip doesn't perform as well as it should, Qualcomm might remain the top choice for Samsung's high-end phones. It's not just about how powerful the chip is, it's also about whether Samsung can make enough good chips without wasting too many in the process. In short, all eyes are now on Samsung. The Exynos 2600 isn't just a rumor anymore, it's becoming real. And if everything goes well, the Galaxy S26 series could be the big return of Exynos to Samsung's flagship phones.